Welcome back to Family Life Works Language of the Body, based on Ascension Press's Theology of the Body for middle schoolers. In this video, we're going to share with you some ways you can talk to your teens about sexuality and live by example, just as Christ teaches us how to live by example through His words and deeds, and to be good children of God.
Have an ongoing conversation with your son or daughter about these topics. Don't just have a talk about the birds and the bees, but actually show them that you're willing to take the initiative to talk about sensitive topics like sexuality.
Speak to your child about their sexuality as a gift from God rather than as a scary topic. If you approach sexuality as something scary, your child's going to be very anxious about the topic. Rather, help them to see that their sexuality is a gift given from God to each one of us that helps us live our vocation.
Parents of young children often use code words or euphemisms to reference certain parts of the body, which gives the impression that certain parts of the body are especially reverenced and respected. But what that often does is that gives the child the impression that there's something shameful or dirty about their body parts. On the other hand, you also don't want to use slang words or euphemisms. Just be correct with your terminology and use it in a respectful way.
Some parents, when they speak to their children about their sexual desires, take a negative approach. They see sexual desires as a dead end or an evil to be repressed. Rather, you should help your child see their sexual desires and energies as an adventure to be embraced, an opportunity to develop the habit of chastity, which allows them to direct their sexual energies and desires toward loving others the way they should in that moment in their life, so that one day when they're mature enough, they can freely enter into their vocation and love another as they should, whether it be in marriage, the priesthood, or the consecrated life.
More than often, what your child needs is your time and attention. So what that means is we often have to turn off our cellular devices, our tablets, computers, or TVs to show our children that we're fully present to them. That way they'll feel more comfortable and trust us with matters that are very important to them.
When speaking to your child about sex, always speak about it within the context of marriage so that it doesn't come off as some abstract idea. Society often promotes sex as a fun activity with no restraints or rules that young people can engage in as long as they're safe and ready. However, love can never be separated from responsibility, meaning that sexual activity should take place within the loving and secure context of marriage.
Many young people tend to view their individual decisions as something made in a vacuum. They don't realize the impact it has on the community around them, especially their loved ones. So it's important to emphasize the consequences that their decisions have on their community.
When speaking to your child about their sexual desires, don't make the mistake of separating theology from science. In other words, don't limit the conversation about sexuality solely to God's moral law. Otherwise, you might imply to your child that God expects them to live life according to some arbitrary or unrealistic rule. But also, science by itself can't really speak about the sacredness of sexuality. So as a parent, you should address the concerns of your child regarding their bodies. Tell them that their physiological reactions are not dirty or bad. Rather, they're reminders that our bodies are designed to enter into loving communion, that their bodies are geared toward love. And then later on, of course, you're going to have to address their desires within the context of marriage, and that might require some further discussion.
Our society tends to portray physical touch as something that's dirty or sexual. As parents, you should be able to demonstrate that physical affection is actually a good thing when done in the proper way, whether that's hugging or kissing. In the same way, you should be comfortable being physically affectionate with your children. This gives them the impression that physical touch doesn't have to be something dirty or something sexual.
Another way that you can help your child feel secure about themselves is investing in your marriage. Never stop working toward your marriage. Be very intentional about how you date each other. Go out on dates once a week. Invest in going on marriage retreats, maybe even counseling if you need it. Never stop being thoughtful toward one another. Marriage is the core of the family, so if your marriage is not secure, your child will not be secure either. Once you stabilize your marriage by, on a daily basis, being very intentional about how you invest in it, take time to interact with your child. Well-adjusted children have parents that take time out of their day and schedule to spend one-on-one time with them.
Teens are very good at noticing hypocrisy when they see it. If you're not combining good habits with what you teach, your teen will fail to carry out these habits in their daily life.
One mistake that some parents make is taking a hands-off approach toward parenting. This might be a result of the teen one day having exploded at the parents saying, "I don't want you in my life," or "leave me alone." Teens don't really mean that though. They need your guidance. So one way that you can give them guidance is taking a hands-on approach toward parenting. For example, set a curfew. Not too strict of a curfew, otherwise you're telling your teens that you don't trust them, but a reasonable one in order to let them know that you do care about them. Another thing you can do is go shopping with your daughter. That way you can tell her what clothes you approve of, what clothes you think are modest, and which clothes you think are immodest. And then fathers with sons. Very important that fathers spend time with their sons, teaching them a trick of the trade, financial planning, or playing sports, in order to convey to them certain good habits that they can develop.
Well, that's the end of our two-part series, Language of the Body. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope that you look for more videos or other parenting tips at our website, www.familylifeworks.net.